Township Park District Park Board of Commissioners meeting is called to order at 6 p.m. Janet, would you like to read the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Ayers?
Here.
Hurtado? Ludeman? Here. Newton?
Here.
Poling? Here. Pulaski? Here. Stein?
Here.
Installation of newly elected commissioners and their stand in the middle.
Just sign that, give that back, please.
Oh, this is the regular. We got
Sign that, give that back, please. Okay. Girls, let's repeat after me, please. Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Virginia Jones,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office of Park District Commissioner
of the office of Park District Commissioner
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Welcome back, everyone.
Thank you.
So then there's another roll call.
Ayers.
Here.
Hurtado. Ludeman. Newton. Poling. Here. Pulaski. Here. Stein.
Still here.
So next is the election of board officers. So is there a motion to select a board president?
I'll make that motion. I would like to nominate Mary Ludeman for president.
Is there a second?
A second.
Okay, any other? Nothing? Okay.
Any other nominations?
Other nominations?
Okay, hearing no further nominations.
Any other nominations for president? No? Okay. Hearing none, roll call.
Do you accept the nomination?
I do. A motion was made by Commissioner Solowski and seconded by Commissioner Ayers.
Okay.
Oh, polling, okay. Roll call.
Ayers.
Yes.
Ludeman.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Poling.
Yes.
Pulaski.
Yes.
Stein.
Present.
Motion carries.
Is there a motion to elect the board vice president?
I would like to make a motion to
Okay.
nominate Mary Newton for vice president.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Is there any other nominations for vice president? Three times. Hearing none, roll call please. A
Larry, do you
motion.
accept the nomination?
Yes, I always get that part. A motion was made by Commissioner Solowski and seconded by Commissioner Ayers. Roll call for Larry Newton to be vice president. Roll call please.
Ayers.
Yes.
Ludeman.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Poling.
Yes.
Pulaski.
Yes.
Stein.
Present.
Motion carries.
Here, would you do this? Board secretary. Okay, I need a motion to appoint the board secretary, Wendy Calabrese, as our board
I
secretary.
so move.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Poling, seconded by Commissioner Ayers to appoint Wendy Calabrese as our board secretary. Roll call. Roll call.
Ayers.
Yes.
Ludeman.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Poling.
Yes.
Pulaski.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Is there a motion to appoint Maureen Nugent as the board treasurer?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, and is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? A motion was made by Commissioner Ayers and seconded by Commissioner Solowski that Maureen Nugent be our board treasurer. Roll call.
Ayers.
Yes.
Ludeman.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Poling.
Yes.
Pulaski.
Yes.
Stein.
Yes.
Motion carries.
motion to appoint our Park District Attorney, firm Kavanaugh, Bromley, Corbold.
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? A motion was made by Commissioner Newton and seconded by Commissioner Ayers to retain Kavanaugh, Bromley, and Corbold as our Park District Attorney. Roll call.
Ayers?
Yes.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling?
Yes.
Solowski?
Yes.
Styes?
No.
Motion carries.
And then our official newspaper for Park District Publications. Is there a motion to appoint the official newspaper for the Park District Publications of the Enterprise newspaper?
I'll make that.
A motion was made by Commissioner Solowski. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Solowski, seconded by Commissioner Newton. Any discussion?
How effective has that newspaper been for you guys getting the word out throughout town and throughout the area?
They are standard
Compared
distribution.
to other newspapers like Tribune or the Herald?
The cost effectiveness is the difference in prices.
Is that what we're looking at?
That's some of it, because we're required, there's some of the things that we're required by law to post in the newspaper.
Well, I'm saying it was more effective,
Cost
Also,
effective,
we're getting the word out.
I think both are, I mean, you can use the Tribune, but you're gonna cover more area, but you might not get more area, or more coverage, basically, using, the last thing we just did, using Mayfair Park. We got 13 vendors to come in when we were using for the quotes for something like Mayfair Park, using the Enterprise as our publication notice. So I think that's a good standard.
Okay.
And
I
I
we're looking
disagree
for a
on that,
local
but
publication.
in regards to the likes of between other park districts, so they use a lot of.
Most of them
Herald,
usually,
Sword, and,
they usually use their local paper.
Yeah.
So ours is the
usually use
Enterprise or
local
second.
Herald and so forth,
Well, and Herald is our secondary. That would be one.
Any other discussion? Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Solowski, seconded by Commissioner Newton, to select the Enterprise as the official newspaper for the Park District Publications. Roll call.
Ayers?
Yes.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling?
Yes.
Solowski?
Yes.
Styes? Motion carries.
Okay, is there a motion to appoint the Herald News as the secondary newspaper for the Park District Publications?
I'll make the motion. I'll second.
Okay. A motion, any discussion? A motion was made by Commissioner Newton, seconded by Commissioner Ayers, to appoint the Herald News as our secondary newspaper for Park District Publications. Roll call.
Ayers?
Yes.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling? Yes. Solowski?
Yes.
Styes?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Are there any public comments tonight? Everybody's so quiet. Okay, next is the consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
I have an amendment.
Okay,
Under Commissioner comments, under my comments, the word purchase should be acquire. Yeah.
8 minutes?
We spoke prior to
Yes,
technical
she
recording.
checked record.
okay, is there a motion as amended to approve the consent agenda?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, is
I'll
there
second it.
Second, any discussion? Okay, a motion was made by Commissioner Newton and seconded by Commissioner Ayers to approve the amended consent agenda. Roll call.
Ayers?
Yes.
Ludeman?
Yes.
Newton?
Yes.
Poling?
Yes.
Solowski?
Yes.
Styes?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Staff reports.
A couple things. Right now, Mayfair's progress has been moving right along. At this point today, they were actually putting in some of the 5 bars, so the playground is constructed, most of the flat work is done, the curbing is done, so after we're done with some of the general inspections, we'll start on the landscaping, or they'll start on landscaping the project, and we'll be working towards sometime late June, early July for the park dedication as approved by the board last month. I sent out my last couple updates, but just a reminder, the boot camp, it comes up at Lockport Township over at Prairie Bluff Golf Course on May 27th from 6 to 9 p.m. I'm strongly encouraging all new commissioners to go. I know currently I've received a response from 2 of you, Commissioner Steins and Commissioner Poling, are interested in attending, and I would continue to urge to let us know by the end of this week so we can make sure we get you registered in proper time. But if you've attended in the past, it's been a while, if you haven't received this, I'll have it here for the end, but I strongly encourage their overage of being commissioner. This Friday, we have Great Adventures graduation at Settlers Park, starting at 7 p.m. Am I correct on that? I believe it is 7 p.m.
Yeah, I think so.
So if anybody is available Friday night, I'd like to see the little cross over from four-year-old preschool into kindergarten, please don't hesitate to stop on by. Additionally, 2 Saturdays ago, we had the dance recital. I actually got to work backstage, and I will say it was very impressive. So I will say the dance instructors and Cindy Offerman, our dance coordinator, or recreation supervisor of dance, did an excellent job in putting together the dance recital. We did reach out and contact Clearwater Springs HOA. We attended their meeting as a district. Tried to get some of their concerns, what they're looking for. Did look at the issue that they have in regards to the graffiti and try to make them understand, or try to go with them and understand more what they're looking for. We are looking into the possibilities of lights out there right now. There is some current lighting piers put in and conduit there. We're not sure if the electricity is to that point. We will be having electrical come out in the next couple of weeks. The Parks Department will be looking at that to see if we are able to put some type of light out there. Moving forward with that park, I don't know how familiar everybody is with Clearwater Springs, but one of the issues that we have, there's not a lot of street view from Clearwater Springs. It's kind of nestled behind the homes in that area, and so with the ponds, it's very hard to see even the playground from street view. So their complaint is valid, but it would be very hard for a policing aspect on that area. We are putting Mayfair Park right within the vicinity. Mayfair is the connecting park to Clearwater Springs, so as we move forward, there might be some considerations in that respect. And then the final thing I'd like to bring up, just to be a little bit brief, we recently were, as of the end of last week, and it was a quick turnaround, Marco's Pizza in Plainfield contacted us with interest in possibly running concessions out of the pool. Now, normally, if we were going to run a concession stand, we would do an RFP to see which product we will not. We don't have really the time frame to do an RFP at this point with the pool opening in 2 weeks. The question we would ask is, do we want to possibly move forward and work with Marco's Pizza to run a concession stand in which their initial proposal was 20% of all concession sales to be donated or to be contributed every Monday to the park district, with working the hours of the pool all at their cost and their manpower, and then additionally guaranteeing us 30 days to see if it's a feasible. We can use this kind of as a beta test to see, is that concession stand in the pool a profitable one, or if it wasn't, we kind of at least made an attempt to see, is there a possibility to move forward with concession at the pool. Seeing we don't currently run concession at the pool, our last attempt, according to Director Chrisman, was we were in a negative when we tried to do it. So I want to gauge the board's interest on this. Should we look to move forward and try to enter into some type of an agreement with Marco's Pizza, or is it the time frame not appropriate?
Is this a professional service, or is it
A vending service.
contract type of thing?
It's a vending service. They actually have a business, I believe, out of Family Video. So they're looking to, they'll secure all permits and licenses that are required moving forward with it.
It just seems like we're bypassing our procedures for selection of a vendor.
We could, well, that's what I'm saying, we want to look at it as a beta test so that we go with further next year and actually kind of go out and actually solicit for it. Because we weren't anticipating to run concession out of there this year. So normally, yes, if you were going to do it.
The facility is functional for that purpose?
Yes. We would just have to do a little bit of cleaning, or fixing up the concession window so that it was functional on that end. We've boarded it up at this point.
Well, at the same time, you can stipulate they handle the situation as is, in regards to whatever it takes to bring it up to standards.
They're going to do all the cleaning and everything. We just would have to open up the window because we've done that aspect of it.
Gotcha.
And then if this works out and we see a profit, we can use it as next year as our gauge to go out there and solicit RFPs for somebody to run the concession out of that.
There's nothing legal that would prevent us from doing this in terms of not setting out bids or whatever?
No.
Well, you just mentioned that they're going to go through all the legalities in regards to make sure it's legal.
They're going to take care of their Department of Health and any state licensing aspects that they would require.
Matt, do we need anything?
The only issue you might have is somebody coming in and saying, hey, wait a minute, if I knew you guys were gonna do that, I would have submitted something.
Right, and that's,
In other words, like.
And then what would
Jim's
happen?
Pizza.
And then what would happen?
Probably not. I mean, they would, no, I mean, you know, they would have to go through a fairly complex process to get them out of there.
So we would probably say, well, next year we'll be putting it out.
Well, this is, like I said, yearly leasing, you know, situation, correct?
I'm sorry?
It's a yearly leasing, it's not a,
Right now,
all
this would be
year.
almost,
It's a 30 day.
this would, they're only guaranteeing 30 days because they're not even
Okay,
positive
all right.
it would be
Okay.
feasible after their first 30 days.
Well, like I said, in this case here, we have nothing in there right now, and it sounds like a win-win situation regardless. You know, we have vacant spots, and with all our grants disappearing, you know, opportunities and parks needing monies to maintain them, and we can't be relying on taxpayers, you know, to substitute all these missed, you know, grants and so forth or opportunities out there. I think we should start creating revenues within our park district as quickly as possible.
You just looking for consensus?
Basically, a board directive to move forward if you guys wish to do this.
It's the only part that I'm not for.
And the only thing
The
our
probably
only,
that you said is.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's, I mean, because it's like anything else when you have a bid situation where, you know, the award goes to somebody else. And, I mean, this situation, they're not even going through that process. So again, somebody might come in and say, hey, look, had I known, we would have submitted something, maybe we would have said 25%, or, you know what I mean, or things like that. So those are the things that we want.
and that's the only reason I'm bringing it to the board at this point without having other, we weren't even anticipating this, they approached us.
Could we put this out to bid, put the information?
So we put an RFP, we could, and see how it comes back. I mean, that's a possibility. We probably wouldn't be ready to open up for the first of the season, but we can definitely go that way if the board wishes to go that way.
What do we have now for concessions?
0.
No,
We
zero.
have a sort machine out
We
there.
have zero throughout the whole park district?
Concession wise,
Yes.
we have, I believe, we have vending machines up at the horse farm that we run, or the question center.
That's, you know, food service, or is it just
It's a vending
liquids?
machine.
The vending,
A simple vending
Yeah.
machine with snacks and beverages.
Okay.
so basically, we don't have actual food service, we have vending per se. And then obviously, we don't run any concession stands throughout the district.
No vending form concessions?
No, not currently. Right now, the only, if you're looking at us, we offer nothing. The affiliates, I know, PAC runs Renwick, Ottawa Street, and Four Seasons. They offer something that goes more as a service than a profit margin.
And how's the other park districts run their, you know, parks in regards to, you know,
Each is
contracts,
different.
concessions and so forth?
Each is different.
Okay, but they do have it?
What?
They do have it?
Some do, some don't, some run it internally. Some have more of a mechanism where, like using Bolingbrook, they run their concessions internally, but their pool attracts a lot of a different clientele to where it's a little bit more profitable than what we offer throughout the course of the day with having a standard pool. Like they have a water, they have a aquatic facility.
And it's in Nova.
So theirs is a little bit different. Each park district's different. Some might have some agreements with various local vendors to bring in pizza, but they might sell it, et cetera. It depends on what you're looking at.
Would it be possible to do the RFP and maybe look at starting this in July? To test it for that part of the season and see if it's a go for next year?
Sure.
That way nobody can say, well, they didn't get an opportunity, and we still get to test it this summer.
Can I ask if we would go that direction, would the board want still to approve it at that point, if the staff makes the determination upon that, so we would have to wait till another board, like, if we don't make the next board meeting, et cetera. Because I believe the next board meeting is early in June, it's like June 8th next month.
You mean after the RFP, then you
We would
would?
get the RFP out, try to move as quickly as possible.
I think that makes
If,
sense.
as long as you're okay with letting staff make a consensus of who will go.
And then you can set the time frame. I just threw July
No,
out,
that's fine.
figuring that's a month.
Hmm?
You know, 6 weeks, I don't know how long it would be,
No, that's fine.
because the pool opens, what, in 2 weeks? Not even.
Well, I got a question for you. I think we got policies in regards to facilities and so forth coming up. How's it, just quickly follow up and, or policy that are being proposed?
We're not charging them a rental fee. This would not be a rental fee, this would be like a service that we'd be offering them. So we'd be opening the space at a, like we wouldn't be renting out the space per se, we'd be offering the service, we'd be allowing them to utilize the space at percentage profit.
City trying to play on words there in regards, it is a facility of ours, right? Isn't it,
It's not a facility we currently rent out, no.
okay,
It's not one of our,
and the reason why we don't,
we haven't utilized it.
and why haven't we?
I couldn't answer that for you.
Okay,
I think they said that last time it was not profitable.
Right.
well, because of, maybe, staff running it, maybe their condition, there's always concessions out there making monies, one way or another, or even breaking even. I talked to a lot of park districts, and I never heard, them losing out. And they have,
Depends on what their
concessions.
sales is like. I couldn't answer, I just know off of our last trend, we gauged it, we were losing on concessions.
Well, and when people come to our pool, they tend to bring a cooler with their snacks and stuff in it.
The hours of our pool this year would be 1 to 4:30.
1 to 4:30
And
and
then
then
7 to 8.
7 to 8:30.
Thank you.
What's the hours on Sunday?
1, or noon until 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday and Sunday would be 8.
Is there any night swim involved here, for the pool?
7 to 8.
7 to 8:30,
That's it, the latest?
yes. We do have some movies nights that do run later. We have one movie each month that runs later. We can't run it earlier.
Okay, so for our board director, then we can push forward with an RFP, and then when it comes back, we can go with the most reasonable RFP to move
Test
forward.
it.
Sure. And that is all I have, unless there's any other questions.
Good job.
Next, under my area, I'm gonna open up to the Delphi Committee, Michelle Kelly, Greg Bott, Mark. Are you?
I'm not speaking, I'm just here for support.
Okay. Marcy, and I believe also Jim? Jim, Jim Watkins, Jim Watts is also part of the Delphi Committee as well from the ISBA. So, you wanna come up and give your presentation on the Delphi Committee?
I'm just turning it on. Well, thanks for having us. It was a fun committee to be on, and the committee nominated Greg and I to be the co-leads, which was a lot of fun. We worked with Greg again, so thanks for making this opportunity available, Carlo. The reports, we've already got a copy of it, yes? Okay, so we're just gonna give some highlights of it. The committee members are listed here. We had a really nice representation of people from the village, City of Joliet, the Y, the Forest Preserve, obviously with Marcy. Julie from the library came. Just our mayor, just a lot of really strong leadership from our community that came out. So it was really nice to get all that input and kind of get together and talk about the park district. Our format was, we had 4 meetings, and we wanted 4 topics. 4 topics is kind of what Todd Stanton gave to us to start with, and at our first meeting, we changed one of the topics in a unanimous support from referendum to trust. There certainly was a lot of discussion about concerns about where the purchase had been and where it's going now and that. So we wanted to make sure that was part of the future moving forward, the positiveness, I should say. So so we're going to highlight these 4 different areas. So we got it.
I know how to use it. Technology now that your friend has it.
It's your friend.
Should go side to side.
He said this side.
Anything, I guess it's not working, so I'm gonna have to.
I'll give it back to you. I was lost now.
So I'm going to take the first 2, and Greg's going to take the next 2. Parks and facilities. I think what you're going to hear is a lot of things that you already know. For those of you who've been working on the park district or known the park district, had a relationship with it for a long time, is that we have great outdoor spaces. Lots and lots of acreage, a variety of different places and spaces to play. But we have a big need for indoor spaces. So that came out over and over. Other pieces that were really important as part of facilities was finishing the DuPage River Trail and its connections, the community to the trail, seeking opportunities to partner with private and public groups, completing existing park plans, like the lights at Northwest Community Park, pieces like that, or potentially expanding out at Four Seasons, and how we can use the space out there better in concert with the potential, I-55 changes. And then repurposing outmoded facilities. Sometimes things get old or they're not used, and that's always an opportunity, so seeking those opportunities. Incorporating sustainable facilities. This is certainly a movement throughout the Parks and Rec area, but also something that we need to look at as a community, is how we sustainably have these 1,500 acres that we have. And then promoting water trails. So we have a wonderful river here, and how can we promote that? The next area we talked about was recreation programming, and this is an exciting area because we have so many residents and they're changing. So creating more cultural events. We have an extremely diverse community, and I think there are all kinds of ways to expand on knowing that community. I think somebody told me there's 28 languages or something spoken in schools. It's crazy. So using that as an asset to the park district. Marketing the Equestrian Center, which I have to say I've already seen. I don't know what you're doing, Carlo, but I do like listening, and that's really great. Adult and senior programs, the changing demographics. One of the things we talked about is how the community is changing and how we need to react to that in a way that keeps people recreating in the adult as well as senior. Expanding arts, drama, dance, painting, whatever else. That seems to be an area that's definitely lacking, or things that you can see in other districts. And again, that certainly has to talk to our indoor space issue. Expanding on existing successes, our dance program, basketball, looking for nature preschool. That is extremely hot out there. It's getting kids actually out in nature as part of preschool. The program that Kendall County is doing right now is almost full, the whole time that the kids are out in the preschool, they're outside. And even in winter. And it really mimics programs that they're doing in Europe. So nature preschool is a big thing out there. Indoor walking area, again, more indoor stuff, more fitness programming, and using the outdoor facilities for more outdoor recreation programs. And I think we added a list in there of just ideas. Not that we have all the ideas, but it was really nice. People just gave different ideas, and we wrote them down, and who knows, maybe some of that will happen.
And the group understood that there are manpower challenges, there are financial challenges to a lot of these things. The idea is this was kind of, it came from the leadership in the community, the things to look at and to continue to work the problem, I guess is what I like to say. That there are always these issues out there, demographics are changing, trends are changing, maybe drill down some of the details of why programs have become popular or remain popular and why some have maybe lost favor. Look at evaluations. It's kind of lead into what I'm going to talk about a little bit, but the program evaluation forms, maybe update those, and when we look at revising or creating procedural manuals, we look at understanding changing demographics. That's what I was just talking about. Is as the community ages, if there are a lot of young folks still moving into the community, that bubbles, kind of growing through the age spectrum, and how to react to that. One of the things with evaluation forms, and also the intergovernmental agreements. Do they need updated? Do we need new ones? Or some of them serve their purpose? And then the big thing was to get the word out to the public about changes that have occurred. We went through a rough patch, come out of that. There's a lot of good things happening to the district now. I know, Carly, you're getting out in the community. That was a big thing, just to get the word out. Our district's moving forward. There's a lot of positive things happening. So to continue to promote and get your face out there and get the word out about all the good things the Plainville Park District does. What's the next one? Trust. Yeah, that's kind of what I just talked about. The district does a lot. And I know back when we were working here, one of the things we found through one of the surveys we had done was that the district didn't have a bad image, didn't have a good image, it just didn't have an image. And that's kind of what promoted us to create a marketing department and to really start to market what it is that the Park District does. And I have to say we just need to keep building on that and to create a positive image and talk about all the things that the district does. Arts and recreation is an essential service in the community, just like fire, police, sewer, water. it's a quality of life issue, and to really kind of beat the drum about that, and get the word out that the district is here to serve you, we have all these facilities, and try to, you've done through this comp plan process, to try to get some feedback and to react to it. And wherever you can, multiple